Welcome back to the Time Freedom Summit, where we are picking the brains of the world's top lifestyle entrepreneurs, dental coaches, and consultants, and learning how to create a business and a life that gives us a freedom lifestyle. I'm your host, Nomita Mehta, and for this special event, I've assembled entrepreneurs who have done it, achieved their dream, created the business that offers massive value to a lot of people and doesn't bog them down. It gives them plenty of free time to pursue their own dreams, which in turn gives them the space to operate at their highest level so that they can step into their purpose and be able to serve others. Doesn't that sound just perfect? Well, today we are talking to Miss Anne Duffy, a practicing hygienist, chair of the Dental Hygiene Board at CPCC, instrumental in the growth of OxyFresh, and she has helped launch the magazine Dental Entrepreneur in 1998 at the ADA conference in San Francisco. Intrigued and excited with the idea of business beyond the classroom, and took over as editor and publisher in 2002. Currently, Dental Entrepreneur magazine goes to every dental school in the country and to young dentists practicing 10 years or less. Now she has a new publication called DEW Life, which is a lifestyle magazine for dental entrepreneur women, and it will launch in 2017. And philanthropic interests are Best Buddies, America's Tooth Fairy, and Living Your Strengths. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nomita. I'm so glad to be here.
Yes. So today's topic, we're going to discover your God-given strengths and apply the principles in your life to inspire your world. And tell us, before we get into the questions, I love this topic, and I'd like to know, what are your God-given strengths and how did you find them?
Oh, gosh. Well, it's a good question. Like you find most things, Nomita, in life organically. I was at a cocktail party and a gentleman was talking about starting a strengths journey, and I was intrigued. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, this is how it works. You take you Strength Finders 2.0, you take an assessment, and then we got together on a weekly basis for probably 5 times, mm-hmm. and discovered how we could apply our strengths. And so when I took the assessment, my 5 top strengths popped out. Number 1, I'm a woo, and I really wasn't that excited about that. I was like, that seems a little superficial, but apparently that's my number 1 strength, and I like to win people over. Let's see. I'm an activator, mm-hmm. and that shows up in my life now. I get an idea and I just start with it right away. Positivity is one of my strengths. I'm an arranger and a communicator. Wow. And so it was really fun to take the test, and it was fun to go through the journey.
Lovely. So you feel you weren't this clear about these strengths till you went through that program. It really got a lot of clarity. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so much clarity. Oh. When you learn your strengths, and an interesting part about the journey that I took in this assessment and this facilitation process, my husband did it with us. Our 2 children were home from school. Our 2 kids were home from college, and the 4 of us did it together. There were 4 slots available. We all kind of slid into this program, and it was life-changing. Mm-hmm. Life-changing for all of us as the dynamic of our family. Just for instance, our daughter is fabulous. She's very creative. She's so different than I am, and so 22, I was still trying to put that square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
And when her strengths, when she, you know, she discovered her strengths through this assessment, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so you. And why in the world would I want to change you? I love you. You're perfect just as you were made to be. And then my husband, he's an entrepreneur. So he quit his corporate job. We were always corporate. Or he was corporate, and I was, you know, working dental hygiene a day or two, you know, playing tennis, going to lunch at the club. It was wonderful. Love that life. But he decided to start his own business from scratch. And of course, I thought we'd be millionaires immediately. And come to find out, it's not that easy, as you know, as an entrepreneur, right?
Right.
So when I found out what my husband's strengths were, I was like, oh, I'm not going to keep asking you, when are you going back to the corporate world? I'm going to accept you as an entrepreneur because his strengths lined up perfectly as an entrepreneur. And it's panned out to be successful.
That is amazing. See, I'm one that's totally into, you know, setting your vision, your goals. But it sounds like before you even do that, or while you're doing that, if you could just have clarity on your strengths, how much better that would, you know, align with everything that you're planning. So I think that's, yeah.
It's really incredible because it kickstarts you into falling in love with yourself again. Things that you think are annoying, I realize are my strengths. So it's like, oh my gosh, I just like, well, then I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to kickstart those strengths. And like you're at a certain level, and then you embrace them and you just look for other opportunities that are going to build on those strengths.
And that is great. I will be asking you for, if you could dig up when you get a chance, that, you know, that template or the questionnaire, and I want to, you know, use it myself and add it for our audience, if you don't mind.
Oh, love to do that.
That would be great. So, Anne, tell us a little bit, how would you approach this topic of time freedom, and how would you tie it in with, you know, using our strengths?
Well, first of all, when you realize what your strengths are, you tend not to waste time on doing things that you don't like, because you don't do anything well if it's not a strength. Well, I shouldn't say that. I said you perform better when you're using your strengths.
Very true.
So you learn how to partner with other people that have strengths that you don't have, so that you're not constantly going against the most resistance. Think about it. If we're trying to always improve on our lesser abilities, we spend so much time doing that we don't build up on our strengths. And let's go to let's take the route of least resistance, which is building on our strengths. And I found that to be really true. It just frees me up. Like, I'm not that good at that. I'll let somebody else take over that part. And then you enjoy it. And when you're enjoying things, I mean, I can work so much better and longer, and it's not work. Okay, so I feel like I'm just living life with a purpose and on purpose.
I love that. Yes. So we've heard, you know, how each of our co-workers and colleagues have strengths as well. And, you know, when maximized, it's going to benefit the whole team and the whole group. So tell us, what value is there in knowing each one's strengths, and how can we go about, you know, utilizing that the best?
Well, funny you should ask. I mean, you know, I'm actually bringing this to our dental practice, and we've all got the books. It's Strength Finders 2.0, which is on the best-selling list, New York Times best-selling list for years, in the top, I think, 1, 2, or 3. So we're all going to take an assessment and find out what each of our strengths are, and then how we can all work together. Because when you partner with people and you work together, I mean, the result is so much better than the sum of the parts. So a group effort is just a wonderful way to work and to get things done in a timely manner. I think in an office, you know how people will sometimes complain about this coworker or that coworker, but if you know that that coworker is just really good at people skills, and maybe not so good at notes or sterilization, you know, you can just kind of like, let's everybody take their best job in the office and do it the best way they can. And if everybody works together, and we know that we all have different strengths and different abilities, you know, that is going to be a magnificent working environment, because you're going to accept everybody. You accept people for who they are and what they are innately capable of doing.
So you're saying this can be done over a staff meeting, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do a little bit more of that. We're gonna carve out about 3 hours on a Friday morning in January. I'll give you I'd love to share it. In fact, we are going to share. We're going to write an article for our first issue of DEW.
Okay.
And I want to thank you, Nomita, because actually you got me thinking. You know, with the first conversation we had, like, what really floats my boat, and the strengths and the assessment, and then being able to apply it to my life, as I said, has been life changing. And I really wanted to spread that message. You know, let's find out what your strengths are. Because first of all, when you realize your strengths, they're clues to your calling. And then they're tools for fulfilling your purpose. And we all want to know, what's our calling? And like you say, where do you start? And so it gives you a little bit more clarity on that path, that vision of where I want to go. Because I know that, well, for instance, when I was preparing for this call, I was reviewing my strengths, and I'm like, well, no wonder I'm starting a new magazine. I got upset on a day, on a Thursday afternoon, and I was like, darn it, I'm going to start this women's magazine. So I started on Friday morning without giving any thought to it, but that's an activator. And then the communication, I mean, when I was reading what a person that has communication as a talent, most often they're in publishing or in journalism, or they like to stand up in front of a room and they like to speak. And so these are all things that, like, I was already doing, so it validated it. But then again, as I said, once I realized they were true talents, then I started to see them popping up in everything I was doing that I was liking.
Very true.
It's really fun and really cool. So at our office, we decided that they knew how much I liked it. And so I said, let's all do it together. It's just a team building exercise. And two gals that I know that are actually going to start bringing this to businesses, which I think is brilliant. Not just because when you take the assessment, it's good to get that, but it's really great to talk about it with people that know you, that can say, you know, Nomita, I see that you probably have communication too, I'm pretty sure, right? And they can see that in what you're doing. And it's just wonderful to be able to kind of hold a mirror up and have people look at you and say, yes, I see that in you. That's a good thing. And everybody has strengths. Everybody has good things. They're different. What you do, I cannot do. And what I do, you cannot do. But together, it can be really great. So we've got 10 people, 2 doctors in our office, and we've got a staff of 8 to go with that. And they're all excited. Everybody can hardly wait to get to find out what their strengths are going to be. And it's like a 35-minute test. It's really crazy. You know, it's like boom, 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 your initial answers. So it's very authentic and intuitive.
Lovely. And what a good timing. You know, it's the start of the new year, and you just kind of start with that, you know, a nice firm footing, you know, knowing what your strengths are. That's just great. And it's really funny you're saying this, because I've always been a dentist, practicing dentistry. So when my husband came to know I'm organizing a summit, he just couldn't believe. He's like, what are you talking about? Who are you? And when I shared that with my mom, she goes, of course, you know, you're going to be lovely. You're always asking questions. You always want to know more. You know, so do you see that? But And I wasn't that clear, but see, my mom knew, but it was so hidden that my husband didn't know. And it's like all coming out. So it's amazing.
It's so funny that you say that, because when in fact, I have been facilitating this course myself, because I fell in love with it, and I love, working with people to see their eyes light up and this like epiphany, this aha. And we say, don't ask your husband, because he won't see it in you. Ask your mother, ask your best friend, ask your sister. And so, it must be universal like that.
Yeah. Okay, so today's topic, you'll have to tell us, how can we help our team discover our strengths? I mean, do you just go through that sheet, or do you have any other tips? And and once we find our strengths, so how can we best appreciate that and kind of put them in practice? Like, what happens after we found our strengths?
Well, I think then you start to learn. I mean, again, it's actually a talent. I think a talent is something that is God-given. And then with knowledge and practice and study, you develop a strength. It's just like a muscle. So everyone has an arm muscle. And so we've got to develop it. But it's kind of like the other thing I like to compare it to is a bell curve. So in other words, if, like for instance, okay, Joe Montana is a gifted quarterback, right? So say somebody else that is not as gifted might be working hard to be as good, but they didn't have that innate talent to get that far. Some kids are like, I'm going to be playing for the NBA, so I'm going to practice 5 hours a day, and they really never achieve that. Well, they didn't really have that talent to begin with. So I love the fact that they even have a strength finders for teenagers. Wouldn't it have been amazing to know some of your God-given talents, and as a young person, and then say, oh, then maybe I will, it kind of lines up to being in psychology, or being a doctor, or being a teacher. And funny, one of the gals that I was in my first group with, she worked for a company, a big corporate company. She hated her job. And she found out through this assessment that, she really should have been a kindergarten teacher. And it was true. And now she's teaching in a school, just on the weekend faith formation type of a thing. But she really hates her job. She's in her 50s, and she's always hated her job. And I mean, that's a waste of time. We want people to love their careers. And even part of what DEW is about, Nomita, is I want to show women and highlight women in the dental community to love this dental career. And how are you going to love it from residency to retirement? Well, you've got to be open to opportunities that build on your strengths. And not try to fix your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities. It's just too much work. Let's make it easy, right?
Very true. Very true. And it's a mindset change, because we're so used to focusing on our weaknesses and trying to fix it. And I just love that. Turn that around and focus on your strengths. And, life is too short to worry about the weaknesses. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So here's another question. See, success is because of who you are, not because of who you're not. And so, and I have taken this from your website, so I want to know more. Tell us, what do you mean, and how, tell us that definition of success.
Who you are, success is who you are and not who you're not. Well, I mean, again, it just goes back to, being authentic, be yourself. I think again, God loves us, our mothers and dads love us, and the people around us love us. So we should just love ourselves and be ourselves. I mean, you know what? When you get to a certain point, you're like, hey, this is it. I don't know everything, and that's okay. But if I don't know something, I'm going to find somebody that does know the answer, and then work together as a team. And then it also, going back to strengths and other people's strengths, it makes me appreciate everybody else more. I mean, everybody, there's no small part. Everybody plays a big part in life. And I think the key is just make sure you use your God-given talents and not put, not hide them under a bushel basket. I mean, that's the key, is like, I want, through Strength Finders, to me, you bring out the love of your strengths because they're individual. Bring that out and let it shine. I mean, why not? We only go through life once. And I love that, that one, and I'm sure you've seen it. And I know that the women out there, especially that are in dentistry, and they're dentists, they're moms, they're chauffeurs, they're cooks, they're launderers. Okay, so when we are sliding into the end of our lives, we want to skid in and have used every ounce of our talent up, right? I mean, we don't want to hold anything back. No. And it's, it's just so great. And so if you're surrounded by people that are doing that, again, the result is so much better than the sum of the parts. It's the result of everybody working together is something magical, really. Lovely, lovely.
So I guess before I go to my last question, I'm going to keep this open but tell, is there anything along this topic that you want to share with specifically our dentists or our dental team? Do you want to tell them anything else?
Yes, I think as the leader of the dental office, I mean, it's just, first of all, the leader, he or she, that they are the person that stirs the soup, so to speak. How about if they could discover the talents of their staff members and accept them for what they bring to the party, and accept their own limitations, and to find staff members. It's a lot about hiring. And I love, Tanya Lanthier and the Dental Post-it, they've got like a personality test on there too, putting people together. It's a lot about hiring and treating staff. And I truly believe that if you have somebody that's been working for you for 20 some odd years, and you don't consider that person part of your family, then, really that, I think that's kind of a missing, because it takes a village to build a dental practice. It takes everybody's effort. And when you understand where everybody's coming from and what their capabilities are, then as the leader of the dental team, I would hope that you'll be able to maximize those strengths in the people that you're supporting, that you're training. And that's through, doesn't have to be you, but again, knowledge, learning, and practicing. And those are things that you can give your staff and get back tenfold from that.
Lovely, lovely. Yes, yes. Oh, you've hit that, you've really nailed that very key thing that frankly I wasn't aware of. Here I am 23 years into dentistry. I kind of had touched that, and you get that sense, but I'm glad you clarified. That's so important. Love that. And one final question that I have asked all my experts is, what is the one thing that you do to find time for yourself?
Well, let's see. I've only implemented this in the past couple of years, but because I think women don't take time for themselves, and I would say, please, all you young ladies out there, plug it in. And I think they're better at it than I was at my age now. But I love working out. I work out it's called Pure Barre. I love the energy of the community, and it's a 55-minute workout. I do like 4 or 5 times a week. And at the end of that workout, the end of the 55 minutes, I'm literally thanking, I'm just so thankful that I'm actually doing this just for me. Nobody else, just for me, because, not that I'm going to rock a bikini, but I want to be strong, and I want to be, vibrant until, I hit the grave. So that's what I do for myself. And it's good for the mind, the heart, and the soul.
Lovely. So plug it in, plug that workout in your schedule, and you'll be glad about that. Lovely. Yeah. So and I'm just going to summarize what we talked about, and then actually a thought has come, but let me finish my summary. So I guess one of the key things you told us is the strength finders exercise. Do that. It's a life-changing thing, and it sets the tone for everything else that you plan and envision for yourself. Just makes everything so much easier, because now you're aligned with your own strengths. I mean, how logical is that? Yeah. So I guess so once you've done that for yourself, I love that it's equally important to find the strengths of your team members, because then you can now, work as a team and maximizing on each person's strengths, being aware of the limitations, and so you can help each other out in the right, in the right context, whatever it may be. So lovely. So and then I liked how you said that you discover your talents, you accept the limitations, makes your hiring so much easier, treating staff, again with that understanding goes a long way. And like you said, it takes a village to build a successful practice. So you're empowered with such a key tool to build that very positive and a village that is full of focus, I should say. So yeah, and that one question that I did have is, since you meet so many women and young dentists that are coming out, I mean, I feel for them. I don't know, they're heading into this world where they've got this profession, they've got loans, they really have that zeal to work hard, and make a difference in their patients' lives. But then there's the reality of being a woman, all the responsibilities that go with being a woman. So what do you have you found that, one or two key things that you'd like to share with those women that, to make their journey easier?
Well, I mean, really, we've talked about it. I mean, they need to, first of all, find out what makes them tick, what they want, what's their secret sauce. Be themselves, be authentic, and then surround themselves with a successful team. Mentor. It's never too early to just find a mentor, to find a couple of mentors. And I always think that don't place limits on yourself. The sky is the limit. If you bring successful people, you surround yourself with people that know dental, in every, your accountant, your attorney, your coach. Have a coach is very important, which is similar to a mentor. I do believe you can achieve the balance and have a very successful practice. I've got some fabulous young ladies that are doing it right now. And we're going to share that, because everybody wants to know how do you do it?
Exactly.
But it's just one foot in front of the other. And a little bit of time for your spiritual, a little bit of time for your physical, a little bit of time for your brain, and lots of love in your life. And then, it all works out. It just does.
I love it. Yes. Just knowing that there's somebody who can guide you is a huge strength, and that's, I want to spread that message. You're not alone, and don't be alone.
That's right.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you, Anne. So before we go, can you share with us what kind of a free gift you have for our viewers today?
Oh, I'm so excited. It's perfect timing. Our hardcover DEW Life, Do Life, is going to be launched at the Hinman Dental in March. And we'd like to give a 1-year subscription to our new magazine, and hopefully whoever gets that would maybe consider writing for us, sharing their story so they can inspire and uplift others. I mean, that's what it's all about. We all work together in this, right? We're all together. There's nobody playing a small part.
Lovely. Oh, we thank you for that. And does this come out once a month? How often is it?
It's going to be coming out 4 times a year.
Okay.
So we're starting in the spring, and then it'll be summer, autumn, winter, and we're just going to keep it coming. So we're excited. I hope you'll check us out.
Yes, yes. Oh, it's going to be perfect. I mean, again, one more thing to empower yourself so you don't feel alone. I love it. So friends, you've been hanging out with Miss Anne Duffy and Nomita Mehta, host of the Time Freedom Summit. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Take advantage of the free gift Anne has for you by registering below. And be sure to look out in your inbox for tomorrow's interviews. So thank you very much, and make it a worth it day. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Nomita.